when it comes to two people from different cultures, you say it's harder to be in a
I think so.
relationship because the values are different, the mindset is
Yeah.
different. So, say they really love each other and they really want to be together, but they're just struggling with things that they really can't change about themselves and their views. Your the genuine person's thought would be, well, they're not the person for you, so you should
Right.
find someone that is more similar to you. But would you say it's possible that you can make it work? Because I think that being with someone from a different background and culture is about, um, how do you say, embracing that
Right.
person's values and culture, just that how that person would embrace mine. How would you do that? I would learn your language.
Sure.
I would partake in your events, and I would want you to do the same rather than
Right.
that's your culture, that's my culture. When you have your culture, you do that. And when I have my culture, I do that.
Right.
But we stay together because we love each other.
Right.
So I feel that there is some form of way that they can make it work.
And I think that people can, but they have to be really, really, I'm going to say, kind of aware of how deep culture goes. And with culture, I don't mean, whatever, like German culture. With culture, I mean family culture. I mean, what was I raised with, right? Which values was I raised with from my family? And it goes really deep, right? So it's about then having the wherewithal to actually communicate about what is important to you and why it's important to you.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, my sister and I have a different culture, right? Because she grew up in our family differently than I grew up in our family. So it's just being aware of what is important to you and what matters to you and what might be a no-go. And so it's about, but then also you have to have a partner who's just as open
Mm.
to dismantling his own
Yeah.
cultural way of navigating the world and being flexible enough to and open enough to take yours on as well.
But do you think that if they do that in the moment because they love that person, 25 years down the line, there's going to be resentment that I had to change the way I was for that person?
But this is the thing, is that's why it needs to be a conscious choice. It it
And a
it
want
needs,
as well.
yes, and a want, and if you look at the relationship and you want the relationship to work, then you say, I want this relationship to be a happy place, so I will make the adjustments necessary within me to make this relationship work. And I think, a lot of times what I have my patients do is like, how do you make a choice, right? And most people are like, write a pros and cons list. And I'm just like, okay, well, hold on. It's more complicated than that. The way that I do it, and I do it in my head a lot, is that I say, okay, there's A, like having A and not having A, right? And now I look at, what do I gain in having A and what do I lose in having A? And what do I gain in not having A
Mm,
and what do I lose in not having A? So I've basically made 4 pros and cons lists, right?
right.
Well, 2 pros and 2
And
cons.
each thing has different weights.
And each thing
Yeah.
thing has different weights. But the most important step is, so let's say now A, not having A. I'm like, you know what? I look at the pros of A. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I really want A. But now I have to sit with the cons of A.
Mm.
And I really have to go, okay, this is what I lose if I choose A. Do I also choose the things that I lose? Because if I don't also choose the things that I lose, yeah, 25 years later, I'm going to be like, I wanted all of this, I got all of this, but I lost all of this. So now what happened to this? I want this back, right?
Yeah.
And so making a conscious choice and then changing your trajectory, it needs to come with a promise to yourself that you're going to stay the course.
Yeah.
And that the things that you know you're going to lose, when they pop up and you go, I really kind of would like to have that, you go, no, but remember 25 years ago when I chose A, I also chose to not have this. And so I have to live with not having this.
Yeah. I'm just thinking when somebody gets to that point, how do you revamp the
Like,
situation?
and I think yeah, it goes down to the willingness to fix it. And if someone's sitting there going, I gave up all of this for you and you never gave me what I wanted, then that's going to break down. If someone says, I gave all of this to you and you probably gave lots of stuff to me, but we're not aligned anymore,
Yeah.
what do I need to do to make this relationship work? And the other person says, what do I need to do to make this relationship work? Then you work on the relationship.
Yeah.
And I think this is what most people get wrong. I feel like in that situation, they're against each other.
Yeah.
And that's where I wish that people would take themselves out of themselves and put themselves on this side and go, there's a problem in our relationship. How do we fix that problem? Not, you have to fix it. No, you have to fix it.
I think when it comes to psychology and all these things where we define and identify these things, it feels easy. Oh,
Yeah.
but why is it so hard for the human to actually implement it? Because it feels like, yeah, we can do that, but then when you actually put in that kind of situation, you're thinking, no, I want to resort back to how I am.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really hard. It's like, let's say people who want to be healthier and all of their life they've, had McDonald's and Pizza Hut, right? And now they're like, no, I'm going to change my diet after speaking to a doctor, obviously, radically change my diet, go to the gym, fix my sleep schedule, all of these things. And then, they're doing it for the first, like, whatever, 2, 3 weeks. And they're like, yeah, this feels good. This feels good. But then kind of that old stuff kind of creeps in. It's funny. I think, and I don't have any, research based on this, but I remember hearing that a lot of the times when somebody wins the lottery
Yeah.
and now suddenly they're this millionaire, if you go and see them 2 years later, they're back to where they were before.
Yeah.
Because the change comes with so many changes you have to make.
Yeah.
And most people would rather just be the way that they were
Yeah.
because it's easier and familiar.
Yeah.